back, huh? Another event summary. Hallo, meine krankzuchtigen Baby-Schildkröten. Rain here. Forgive my brief yet awful German, and welcome to Lonetrail Poorly Summarized. Oh yeah, and I'm sorry, but I'll be saying Kirsten instead of Kristen. Just can't take that name seriously as a grand antagonist. I apologize to any Kristens watching, I'm sure you're great villains. I'm dreading this video, so without further ado, let's get started. We open with a nice memory of Kirsten's youth, where her parents take her on her first flight. Good thing nothing bad will ever happen on one of those. Meanwhile, Rhinelab Director of Business, Justin Fitzroy Jr., just Justin Jr. if you're one of the boys, is talking to a sick prison guard. Homie is struggling, but JJ has a cure. 6 months paid vacation to Minos. What, you thought he had something tangible? He's no scientist, but he can offer the elegant beauties of Minos. I mean, elegant is an adjective, I guess. Having bribed the man, JJ pops into this lab, which isn't a prison by the way. A full-scale replica of a Rhinelab facility for this creepy old man who looks like Jeffrey Epstein had a run-in with the Norwood Reaper. While that's happening, Joe Biden is giving an epic speech about the future as Blake, and oh my god, Clooney is back? I wonder if we'll get to be a real character in this event and not corrupt businessman.jpg. Mumu is strolling down the corridors looking for Kirsten in her office. Instead, she comes across one of Arknights' most overrated characters. The two start fighting quicker than two religious leaders left alone with one child. How typical for a child to act down after losing their parents. It's already happened to me before! It all started on the day of my actual birth, when neither of my parents bothered to show up. Damn, that's tough. I can't really think of something more insulting than that. After they slap each other around a little more, we cut to Lawrence, Kansas, aka the middle of bumfuck nowhere. We meet the Tin Man and witness his obsession with hot dogs. He eats them, smokes them, dyes his tie with them, and keeps a set of spares in his pockets at all times. The 4-man Rhodes Island unit shows up, and Colton explains the hot dog law! Something also appears to be falling from the sky. CW1 opens with Whole Horse on the roof of a building while she watches the same thing falling from earlier. It's actually not a shooting or falling star, but instead is Kirsten's flying space donut, which smashes into a chemical plant, probably killing at least tens of people. Do we care? They didn't have sprites. They're not people. The snake jumps off the roof and pops her knees like bubble wrap. Meanwhile, the doctor awakens to a home invasion. Well, a hotel room invasion, I guess. Oh, how did you get into my room? Wow, when I make you breakfast in bed, a simple thank you would do. Not all this how did you get into my room business. The explosion at the chemical plant is all over the news. I mean, of course it is. The chemical plant exploded. They may work with some dangerous stuff. Mumu burns her TP to go cross-map as Ifrit and the rest of the squad pop in. The military have locked down the area, but Tin Man gets Saria in, and Silence sneaks her way in with them as well, as we see the main catalyst for Silence's involvement with the situation. Dorothy lost a bunch of the transmitter fluid, the gray goo that links people's brains to the Jerboa Collective. They were supposed to be disposed of, but who would let Roing's science go to waste? You'll find out where it all went, right, Olivia? As sure as my Rhinelab salary was $300,000, I will. Wait, what? I'm only getting like $40K a year. Dorothy, that's like nothing. Entry-level employees at Rhinelab make more than that. Silence, when you find Kirsten, tell me where she is. I just want to talk to her. Sure, will do. Gotta ask her if I can still get my Christmas bonus. You get a Christmas bonus? Saria and the Tin Man are investigating the plant and do indeed find Kirsten's astral bagel. And Silence starts finding some of Dorothy's transmitters before spotting them. While all this is happening, Ifrit finishes telling Rosmontis a story about space that totally doesn't feel analogous to Kirsten in any way whatsoever. We open with Kirsten raging against the sky like your average meth addict. Nasty gives us some nerd emoji-worthy explanation about how the sky is a barrier dome thingy. I guess HG are big fans of flat earth conferences. Colonel, how am I supposed to take this order? Come on, Ferdinand, just ask for the strawberry foo-foo pancakes. It ain't girly at all. Takes a big man to take on the foo. At the local Denny's, Blake is panicking that Kirsten wants to blow up the Capitol. But like, come on, someone has to be able to tell him what she wants. She's been as subtle as Markiplier when it comes to space. Snap cut to Saria, who's talking with our swamp hag about what she found at the Triton plant, while Ifrit tries to listen in from outside. Jara, meanwhile, is playing dress up with Silence, and we see her new altar drip. Silence shows her new stubborn personality off as she tells Jara to go fuck herself and runs off to go find more Jerboa. Back with the Rhodes team, a bunch of unmanned power armor sets break in and destroy their intel. Well, that's awfully plot convenient and not contrived at all. Ifrit gets told by Dad Mom that she's still dog water and is forced to go pout with the doctor and his second favorite daughter. Speaking of dog water, the dog slurper himself shows up at the door. While this is all happening, Silence follows the transmitter and runs into Parvis. He tells her that while he liked the youthful enthusiasm of Dorothy and Ferdinand, they were more mid than Chainsaw Man as scientists. Yeah, screw them. Ferdinand trying to make money and actually use their research practically, or Dorothy wanting to create a better and more equal world. They're the assholes here, Parvis. Totally, buddy. Back with the hot dog hoodlum, Tin Man wants our help with stopping the vice president's assassination. Yes, he is asking the upper brass at a pharmaceutical company to do Secret Service work. However, there's no time like the present, so here we go, intervening in an international political power play. Silence is having flashbacks in the middle of the street and almost gets hit by a car, but luckily Mumu is there to Gmod physics gun grab the car and throw it out of the way. While Holyoke mauls over not making a car hit a pedestrian, Silence gets brought back to her daughter. I wonder if she picked up any milk. CW3 starts with a whole mosh pit crowd in front of Rhinelab as Joe Biden gets ready to visit. Mumu has the hookup for us with authorization to a bunch of secret places. The back rooms upstairs, piping downstairs, Kirsten's secret meth lab, it's all there. Jara, meanwhile, is trying to calm down the guy handling energy while Ferdinand is out. But Crypto Bro Justin Jr. doesn't get why not just let him go, then try and bring him back at a discount after the situation calms. Wanna buy some crypto? Justin, I'm not buying into one of your pyramid schemes. How about one of my special business lesson DVDs? What do you teach? How to run a pyramid scheme. I should have known. Joe Biden is rolling up to Rhine Labs as both the Army and Maylander, the people who work under the Boston Dynamics demon, are both set up to try and either kill or protect him. Like most boomers, he hates all these kids with their science and their Minecraft parkour videos. Who needs all that hoopla when you got the Bible, am I right? Blake gives the order to begin their plans, and we're off to the races in this clown fiesta of an assassination attempt. Guys are jumping out of rooms, knocking each other out like it's the WWE. However, the Wiener Warlord's ascendant chess mastery rivals that of KSI over stairs. The Doctor and Rosmontis are smashing up power armors in the back rooms and run into Saria, as well as some people working in her former section who aren't really happy to see her. Honestly, that seems pretty reasonable. Ferdinand has been the one paying them and taking care of their projects after all. Sleepy Joe finishes up his guide around Rhinelab and starts simping for the former movie star turned Rhinelab director, Jara. Good job, Doctor. Everything went great. That's nice to hear, but why did you call me? Can't you hear? I'm clapping for you. Well, clapping one of my clones, but for you. Yeah, I'm just gonna hang up. Damn it, Mumu, you blew it! Stupid! Ifrit is right. I really do have L-Riz. Ifrit still has a job to do, and she's sent down into a San Francisco homeless shelter, which has been left to rot by politicians, as is lore accurate to real life. There are some guys down there setting up explosives to try and blast Joe Biden and his convoy as they go over it. And well, they do indeed blow up the convoy. However, Maylander have more eyes than a biblically accurate angel, and they've sussed out this plan as well. Ifrit even gets to meet up with both of her moms again. Silence is looking over Ifrit quietly, and Ifrit knows this is the worst scenario, as she has entered I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed territory. Always made me feel worse than one of my parents yelling at me. Although I suppose it usually lacked the physical component of getting smacked, Silence and Saria are talking this BS about how, it's dangerous to take on the military, Secret Service, and Rhinelab. As Joe Biden himself would say, what a load of malarkey. Silence is being a tool like usual, and starts a fight with Saria, who gets fucking shot. So I guess the army at least got one back even after all the failure. Ferdinand busts into where Blake and the army are, and is none too pleased with the situation. In fact, he was actively working behind the scenes against the army. He doesn't want Rhinelab destroyed, after all. He then goes off to talk to Jara. We then see the Doctor and Rosmantis chilling in a conference room straight out of a 5-star hotel in Dubai. Little JJ shows up and waxes poetic for a little while to try and buy a little time. So? Want to learn about NFTs? No, I'm busy. On my terminal. Is that Clash Royale? Oh, don't Goblin Barrel right now. Really, you're fireballing here? You can't waste your skeleton army right now. Stop! Backseat gaming! Rosmantis, don't lose control over Clash Royale, please. He distracts for a little longer and compliments our HR department for how many employees we've managed to poach from Rhinelab. Little does he know that my HR department is run by a slum queen and Helen Keller. Back with 2.5 women, Jara shows up again to give a helping hand to get them out. Now we need a snap cut again to the vice president, who realizes that after essentially taking out $90 million worth of personnel, maybe working with the military isn't such a bad idea. Holyoke pops in to ask for federal funds for her new favorite gacha game in exchange for information on Control's location. Kaltzit is a douche about Colombians using ancient Sarkaz relics for modern purposes, and Tin Man tells her to shove it, and then we see the Doctor waking up from an unfortunate water-related accident. You okay, Doctor? Sorry about that. Justin Jr. made me sign a bunch of papers to get my funding for next year. You know how it is. Millions of LMD and all. Why haven't I ever gotten papers like that? Aren't you in military custody? Oh no, all of their brains are plugged into my toaster. You wouldn't happen to know where Control is by any chance, would you? If I did, I would not tell you. In the room Mumu whisked you off to, Rosmantis notices someone coming. Would you look at that? It's Basherverse, or maybe a Lion Maker. I get my Minecraft creepers mixed up sometimes. Loken comes in and starts saying... Yeah. Take a seat, Mr. Williams. I'm Chris Hansen. Loken continues to creep on Rosmantis, but she learned about stranger danger at Rhodes Island, so she's well equipped to handle him. He starts trying to make her remember all the abuse he put her through, which I mean, kind of a dick move, and we do get to kick out his crippled old shins. He says he'll wait at her home, which again, dude, this is a little girl, how about you settle down there? Outside, Mumu catches him trying to escape, because of course the one who woke you up was a clone. What is the cooldown on that? Some real OP shit. Loken calls Mumu a little piss baby and asks her if she wants to catch up with Kirsten, which causes Mumu to have a Windows XP brain shutdown, stand around looking stupid, as this sickly old man just gets away. She then pops back up next to the Doctor in place of her clone. You there, Will Size? Yeah, totally here. Did your clone outside stop him? Yeah, the clone outside. There were like 30 guys. I fought them all off alone, but they managed to get him away. As they prep to meet up with the Tin Boy, we go back to where Ifrit and Silence are dealing with the whole knocked out Saria situation. Jara tries to get Silence to leave, but Silence has learned from the silly rat. Simply don't listen to anyone else and tell them all to get bent. Jara ends up in the conference room talking to Ferdinand, who's still hunting for Kirsten, and assumes that Jara of all people knows. She's basically her foster mom after all. And that if anyone knows where that golden retriever bitch is, it'd probably be her. Tin Boy is waiting in an alleyway, and Whore Helipad shows up alongside Nasty Laundry. And with her Banshee arts, she stunlocks him harder than Earth Leona, and he's forced to stand still while he finishes his final dog. Back with the Doctor, he hears the bone whistle and gets a little concerned, especially considering Logos is off competing in the International Chair Olympics right now, so he couldn't be there. Rounding the bend, he looks out into an alleyway where he sees a lone, unfinished cheese dog roll out of the darkness. And also Tin Man's head. Holyoke is being her normal, cripplingly unlikable self, being a conceited, narcissist trash can of a human being. She smugly condescends to you about how smart she is, and how she's gonna frame you and how screwed you are. However, she's in for a little surprise, as that's not actually the Doctor, but one of Mumu's water clones. Back with the modern family, Silence and Ifrit are still dealing with carrying Saria. Silence spots some transmitter in Parvis's office, which is a bit weird, considering we already saw him with it earlier, and he was calling Dorothy a bad scientist. If she's so bad, stop using her tech and make it yourself then. Saria also wakes up, good for her. Jara and Ferdinand are still arguing, and it's revealed that Jara is a goddamn fed. Back with the full house, Ifrit uses her arts like a laser cutter to pop out the window, and Saria says she'll stay behind if Silence's drone can only hold 2 people. But instead, Silence lets it rip and Sari is sent with Ifrit out the window on the Beyblade. Silence goes back to the conference room, drinks the transmitter, and allows herself to be used as a tracker for the military. Can't believe the Hood lost another one to Big Brother. Back to the streets, the rom-com trio have been split up, and now the deadbeat dad must try to reconnect with her child. They talk about the transmitter, and how Dorothy can't use it being in military custody. Little do they know of her escape and impending revenge quest for a Christmas bonus and a fair salary. Meanwhile, Ferdinand is walking outside and runs into the most stable resident of Alabama. Look out, you almost got hit by that car. Thank you, sir. I tell you what, it's all this weather that the tech companies control. They use drones to spray chemicals in the air and fluoride in the water. They're gonna take our brains and turn us gay. Well, I mean, they may take your brain, but the rest of that... The reptilians own the government, and I hide in the flat earth. Alright, I'm gonna go. Ferdinand returns to the local Denny's and finds Parvis. Bro has hit his all-time low. He's failed, everyone's against him, he's just lost one part of his favorite pair of socks, so now he has to have one great sock and one mid one. Just truly an awful space to be at. Very human, though. Parvis starts talking about how it takes special, superior people to make miracles happen. Careful there, buddy. You're sounding a little too German, if you catch my drift. Flash to Mumu, showing off her vivarium to the doctor and Rosmontis. Mumu's been working with you, but not really showing her true motivations. When called out, she asks you to dance instead of explaining herself. She also talks about her past, and how she found where her parents died. Mumu and the doctor dance a little longer, and she exposition dumps a bit about her and Rhinelab's past. Until she finally reveals what she actually wants from Kirsten, to take her dreams with her on her journey. Hate to break it to you, Mumu, but I've taken pisses that lasted longer than those plants will. Hey, Nasty, just who I was looking for. You ever heard of the blockchain? Justin, get out of my lab. Come on, it's the future. Tell you what, come to the highest point in Tri-Mounts tomorrow night and I'll tell you about it. Are you asking me out by shilling cryptocurrency? 2 fouls with 1 stone, or as I like to say, 2 rights with 1 crash. Back at Kirsten's shaft. Maybe I should specify that's an abbreviation. Loken is coughing and shambling his withers-looking ass along, remembering when Kirsten first showed him her plan. She apparently got it from God. Oh, sorry, Jif Sayers. Jod. He tries to talk to her, but Kirsten is lost in thought.
God damn it,
Space.
I swear to Christ, answer me, woman.
It's so beautiful.
Well, lady loser.
The elegance,
I'm off to Dairy Queen and go stick my
the
dick
story
in a
of
snow cone.
why. Ferdinand shows up to the shaft and tries to get some data, and he's able to easily. However, if Kirsten was using the sponsor of today's video, NordVPN... Okay, people have been making NordVPN jokes for years now, I'll stop. Anyways, turns out when it comes to Originium Energy, Mr. Clooney is as cracked as he is jacked, and even has a whole widespread conversion formula named after him. He realizes the numbers are a bit off, and he goes to tell Blake, and he already knew, so for like the 40th time already this event, Ferdinand is beaten to the punch. Ouch. Silence in the meantime is being flown by Blake using the aluminum foil goo she swallowed as a guiding system. Even Maylander is getting in on it with all the drones as they approach the Hammer launch area. Hammer? I hardly know her. Still got it. Let's go. With all them approaching, here comes the worst part of the event, where we see Hypergriff's teaser for Holyoke Altar. Holyoke, the self-insert power fantasy. She single-handedly, with just arts, knocks everything out of the sky and smashes power armors into walls like I slammed the skulls of my victims into the pavement of a Munich parking garage. 26 buried, none found. Now, of course, the question this brings up is, what was the point of the whole Tin Man pin blame on Rhodes Island thing? If you're this powerful, you didn't need to do any of that. Come on, Hypergriff, do better. The doctor also brings Rosmontis to go find Loken to finally end his Onision-esque reign of grooming terror. After hearing the vulnerable knocking of a teenage girl on his door, Loken lets Rosmontis into his lab so he can have a schizo trial with his dark OC alter ego. Holyoke is being as much of a prick as usual, until Saria shows up to put her in her place. Oh my, harder, mommy. I've been thinking, your mental state clearly relates to a distinct lack of parental figures in your life. What? You were also likely bullied as a child, leading to you lashing out and seeking control. Hey, what are you, my therapist? You were also a neglected child. You see Kirsten as a motherly figure because she also doesn't care at all about you. How sad. Fuck you. Don't steal my tragic backstory trauma dump. It's the only way I'll be somewhat likable. Back with the newlyweds, Mumu and the doctor run into Ifrit, which is great because she's a big girl now, and is perfect to go get Rosmontis to stop her mob psycho arc. She kicks down the door and tells Rosmontis not to let the YouTube groomer win. Skinny white EDP isn't worth her time. He can go get cupcakes by himself in hell. Doctor and Mumu stumble across a replica vivarium powered by a sarcophagus. Yeah, the thing that we woke up in? And Mumu decides that from the earth she has risen, and to the earth she shall one day return. Pushing out the doctor and chilling in the garden. Can I go now? Yeah, I have no need for you and your 42 years of life Monopoly Iron Chin anymore. Go live out the rest of your days as the sorry snake you are. Wow, words can be hurtful too, okay? Anyways, before I leave, there's this one crazy chick who just walked right through my wind wall. Had these funny Mickey Mouse ears. Dorothy? I thought we had her locked in military custody. Yeah, she just walked right through 400km/h winds. She was shouting something about a Christmas bonus? Oh, let me ask you something. What the fuck is a kilometer? Small white text on a plain black background introduces us to the imminent launch of Hammer. Saria and Silence have one of those classic visual storytelling, one character's going one way, the other's going another moments. And as we flash through a couple more people, Logan starts singing Goddamn Country Roads. I'm not making that up, by the way. The doctor actually sees Kirsten through several windows and can't help but burst out laughing at her fit. I mean, did you get your clothes at a Rhinelab disposal plant? Kaltza shows up and saves the doctor from Kirsten's temper tantrum gravity shift from being laughed at. CW7 starts with a poor researcher getting yelled at by his wife over the phone for all the overtime he's pulling. Take it easy on bro, he's doing his best. He looks up at the sky and sees Kirsten's hammer. Okay, why do both of her spaceflight mechanisms have these sus acronyms? Justin Jr. is busy selling some crypto when he gets a call from the Supreme Justice of Columbia, who asks if whatever he's doing is worth it. And like me playing Subnautica in the dunes, he tells that hater to kick rocks. However, he doesn't end up in a Reaper Leviathan's stomach, so that's pretty nifty, I would say. Joe Biden is back with Blake discussing the whole flying circus show Kirsten has set up. But Joe is stoned out of his mind, and he tells Blake to just chill out and ride the wave, dude. Wanna hit? Silence wants to get on that big old flying donut and steals a military vehicle, which I feel like has gotta be a felony that we never hear about brought up again. Ifrit also steals a car as well. Is Lonetrail just an elaborate GTA RP server? While Ferdinand and Saria run into each other, and he proposes that the two directors Kirsten told nothing about the situation. Okay, I mean, she probably didn't tell Scientific Investigations, or Dorothy for that matter, but I digress. Basically, he wants them to go together to actually get on the hammer. He's continuing his character arc really well, unironically probably my favorite arc in the whole game. Also, this guy gets it. Kirsten clearly just got addicted to Kerbal Space Program at a young age. She isn't looking to blow up a city. Meanwhile, Silence is creeping through the shaft, and she spots a man with one of the most reasonable concerns with regards to Rhinelab I've ever seen. Jara came on board and sees that Silence is indeed continuing on no matter what. Back with California Seat and the doctor, the worst part of the event rears its ugly head again. Kaltsit actually puts the doctor's safety first, as she tells Holayak to go do LSD or something and learn what the point of life actually is. Extremely rare called W. However, also in that cave. But how? It's not possible. You bumbling imbecile. All you destroyed was my 300 dog, perfectly painted and shaped decoy body. Oh my god, that is so astronomically stupid. Is it any dumber than your plan to kill me and pin the blame on Rhodes Island? Fair enough, I'll shut up now. Our action figure icon puts that snake in the trash quicker than I put Dio there after he tried to claim Yumi was hard. Meanwhile, Saria and Ferdinand are trying to pilot an aircraft up to the hammer, and one of their engines is about to explode. Saria, the engine is on fire! Power loss is fine. Hold this bar and check this out. What do you mean it's fine? Where are you going? I love this job. Did you just climb out of the aircraft and repair it? Maybe Dorothy isn't the most insane person at Rhine Labs. She was riding on the wing. She was what? They managed to dock and pop off into the main body of the spaceship. Meanwhile, back with the doctor and Kaltsit, they find Kirsten's power plant. The mitochondria of the ship's cell, if you would. It's a ton of sarcophaguses watched over by Trevor. Jara tries again to get Silence to turn back, but the little owl that could will keep on chugging along. Saying that science shouldn't have a price, and as nice as that is to say, we've learned plenty from some messed up experiments that have even helped lots of people. Meanwhile, the Eye of Trevron explains that he gave Kirsten the power and answer she wanted. And I mean, bro hadn't seen a woman in 10,000 years. Let the eye have no mouth and I must scream reject, simple little. Silence, meanwhile, continues to push deeper down the shaft, even as it looks like it's ready to burst. I literally was not even trying to write an innuendo there. Back on solid ground, JJ and Nasty are watching the light show. Whoa, Pog. Did you just say... No, you must be Delulu thinking I'd use that. You're rubbing off on me. Isn't that great? Tell you what, I finished all my calls for today. You want to come over? Well, I have nothing better to do. But if 1 minute after we finish, you queue up a League game, I will wring your neck. Opening up, Ferdinand and Saria are still moving through the ship, while Ferdinand observes the absolutely unfair outputs the ship is getting. Imagine playing tennis against 10,000 years worth of people's combined skills. And you can understand what he's feeling here. He decides he'll stall the army guys and get some of the readings himself. If you can't beat them, you can at least take their measurements. Silence runs into Parvis and whoa there, my guy. Back to 4chan with you. Before Parvis can get any more clearly related to No-No Germany, Silence slurps up those remaining transmitters. However, instead of throwing in the towel, bro links up his brain Metal Gear Rising style and fucking dies. Back with Saria, she's fighting off former employees and getting flipped like a very muscular pancake. Ferdinand has finally found his purpose in the meanwhile. He may not have the talent, people skills, or sheer dumb luck of Kirsten, but he will find a way to be remembered. He's bringing all he can back from this trip to advance science on the ground. Look at all this crazy equipment. All these crazy machines. I'm gonna keep it real with you, Ferdinand. I don't know what any of this means. Groundbreaking energy transfers, capacities no one on the ground has ever seen, a machine that can turn a loaf of bread into a 6-pack of terrible light beer. Okay, not gonna lie, that last one's pretty dope. Silence is getting depressed, as the brain linking did actually fix the transmitter. But Ifrit is there to get her back in the saddle. Although, Silence, you could have just, disconnected him. The solution was pretty simple. Back with Big Tonka T, he tells the doctor that everyone now dead here were his people. So yeah, Priestess appears to be indeed gone for good. The doctor is then sent on some weird fever dream to face his demons, like some weird religious trial in a video game. Wait, Arknights is a video game! Back with Saria, she digs into the ground with her arts and makes a break for it. Remembering Nasty telling her some weird voodoo crap about disorder and abandoning balance. She also remembers Parvis completely misunderstanding the concept of evolution. Hypergriff, please stop using the term when you don't know what it means. You're killing me. She busts into the vivarium and finds Mumu there, who tries to fight Saria off. She wants to see her damn plants in space after all. Too bad she gets a little too wet, and when the gravity switches again, goes flying like the beer from the half-empty bottle that Arturia fans' parents beat them with. With that out of the way, she's finally able to make it to Kirsten, who's busy dunking on Astesia's entire family line. I do have to say, it's kind of funny seeing a character who's a super genius, but doesn't know a lot of concepts that are common knowledge to us now. I guess she did live in a dome, so it's understandable. Don't you remember what I've told you, Saria? If there was a program to go into space, with 100% chance of dying from death by space, I would be first in line. Is everything just about space and planets with you? Would you like a bagel? Sure, sounds great. It's made of planets. God damn it. Saria survives Kirsten's planetarium bukkake, but it turns out she's on that jerboa juice and can flick the gravity of the pod to the side with just a flick of the wrist. Saria relentlessly picks her way forwards towards the control panel, and no matter how much waxing philosophical Kirsten does, much like her idol Kesante, Saria will not yield. Kaltson and the Doctor are both able to finish up their side quests, and tired of being forced to cosplay the one death guy from Skylanders Giants for all eternity, Mr. Fritzton just wants out. However, he does share a little more of Kirsten's motivations. And I mean, considering the Seaborn, Collapsals, and Eripathy, she may well be right that moving out may end up being necessary. Meanwhile, back on the ship, Saria realizes the control panel is about as helpful as a philosophy degree is when you're looking for a job. Saria tries to get to Kirsten, but she forgot where her old friend learned rocket science, as she activates her redstone piston trapdoor and sends Saria tumbling out 5,000 meters above ground like any good friend would. No one else here to bother me. Just me and space. It's so pretty. A lot like this control panel. Dorothy, how the fuck did you get in here? Pioneering values, Kirsten. Hard work, determination, and an enthusiasm unknown to mankind. Now, if you don't want me sending this glorified toilet seat back to Terra, give me all those Christmas bonuses you've been holding out on! You know that panel doesn't do anything, right? Control, who do you think created Transmitter? I can bring this whole thing down whenever I want. Okay, fine. You know what? Here's my cards and all my bank account information. I won't need it anymore. Just do not do that. Finally all alone for real this time, Kirsten can leave all those psychos behind. I mean, what's wrong with them? She then shoots a laser beam at the sky so she can melt through the sky dome and look at the stars. CWST3 covers the world's reaction to the aforementioned laser in the sky incident. Seaborn just kinda shiggy-wiggy around, Lithanians get motivated, Victorians are in shambles, and in Kazdel? Look at it! Flying crafts! Our science is the greatest in the world! Sir, Columbia just blew a hole in the sky and went to space. Jimmy, get out of my office. You're killing my vibes right now. Back at the craft, the escape pods are not working. Like, at all. Like, every parachute or other safety precaution all fail. With no other options, Moo must become the ultimate hydro homie, and waterbend to try and salvage the situation. Everyone crashes down to Earth, but hey, they chilling on the ground now. You good? Silence? Don't move too much. You want to have a romantic kiss? Yeah, my ribs! Oh, hey, Silence. I finally did it. I'm gonna get paid like a real employee. How did you get down from there? You had to have been even higher up than Saria. Jerboa legs, Silence. They harden in response to physical trauma. Stop ignoring me and get off! You Mickey Mouse earsolic bitch! Silence and Saria finally make a commitment to begin mending their relationship as Friston drops some big bombs on the Doctor before he gets shut down. Apparently, Aripathy has some connection directly to the Doctor and the Precursors, which is a serious drop of lore! Which I love. The Dog Whisperer returns from tying down the hydraulic press channel stand, but his police work ain't great, as Holyoke manages to get back down. However, she cannot speak the language of Friston's people, but I can. For those of you who don't speak Turkmenistani, this means apples in my anus. There is one important thing she sees down there, a memory of Friston's daughter, who looks suspiciously like Kirsten. Granted, she would have to be his, grand to the 80th power daughter, so who knows if that's actually important? She uses this to try to get out of a prison sentence for, murdering a bunch of federal troops, and leaking CIA-type secrets. People complain about Dorothy not getting punished. Once it's just the Doctor and Caltzit, the President takes control of the bunker to speak to them. Yeah, Pidgey Carter over here drops another bomb, that Friston is his father, which I mean, if so, I don't think we should allow Trevor back in the petting zoo. Rosmontis has her low-tier god moment telling Loken he's nothing. Rhodes trades a fresh new type of dog imported from Lithanian for Holyoke to not get grilled like a steak on a Houston, Texas driveway. The Doctor runs off back to the Bavaria. Bro got that moo fever and finds it virtually entirely underwater. And he talks to her about kin and belonging, which is a pretty touching scene considering it's these two. Moo floating around depressed, but the Dr. Riz has overcome bigger mountains and brings her back from her stupor. The final story chapter begins with Blake and Clooney about to star in the Jesselton show. Ferdinand is using all the measurements and readings he saw to redefine high-energy physics. And I gotta say, him having that competitive edge reignited by the end of his arc is a nice touch. He still has his flaws, but if things work out with his research, it should do an immense amount of good for the entire world. You think you're so great, Kirsten, with your huge brain and your perfect hair, radiant smile, great body, and your hot, muscular tomboy wife, coworker, friend, enemy. We'll see you so great, you idiot who I totally hate. Damn, I thought you were gay. What? In the army, we only like two things. Man-ass and man-ass. But I guess you're more of a bionicle kind of guy. You here for these dinguses? By the way, that guy talking about how he totally doesn't want to bone Kirsten like I thought every other member of Ryan Lab did. Reminds me, I hear you're seeing the Sarkaz girl. Didn't take you for that kind of guy. Yeah, it's generally pretty great. Be careful around banshees, though. You work all day, and you get home, and you just want to sleep. But no! She starts speaking in goddamn Minecraft enchantment table, and yo dick starts doing figure eights and crap. There also happens to be a science conference being run elsewhere in the city that many prominent firms have sent members to. Wow, Nasty, I didn't think you'd get out of your lab long enough to go outside. JJ told me it was important. I swear, if he sent me to another cryptocurrency conference. Sari and Silence reach the room where Silence will be attempting her mission of making everyone be more chill about their science, which is a fine goal. You do need some code of ethics after all. Rhodes Island! Jara retires to the countryside and Kirsten says one last goodbye to the world. Good night, Tara. Good night, viewers. Well, that was a fucking ordeal to get done. Don't ask me to do another event summary for at least a few months. Like, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.